The night was quiet until the storm rolled in. The sky outside had turned an angry shade of gray, and the wind pushed against the old windows of our suburban house in Virginia. My name is Laura Mitchell, and I've always found storms both unsettling and strangely comforting. They remind me that nature has a way of forcing us to pause. On this particular night, however, I had no idea how much of a pause it would bring, or how much closer it would bring my family together. My husband, David, was away on a short business trip in Chicago. He traveled often for work, and though I was used to it, there were times when the house felt far too big for just me and his teenage son, Ethan. Ethan was 16, quiet but thoughtful, and since his mother had passed away years ago, I tried my best to step into the role of not just a stepmother, but also someone he could rely on emotionally. The storm worsened just after dinner. Rain slapped against the roof, thunder growled in the distance, and then, with a sudden flicker, every light in the house went out. The silence that followed was almost deafening. "Laura?" Ethan's voice called from the living room. "I'm here," I answered, trying to keep my tone calm. I didn't want him to think I was nervous, even though sudden blackouts always set me on edge. "Stay where you are. I'll grab a flashlight from the kitchen drawer." The kitchen was only a few steps away, but walking through the pitch darkness felt like moving through a tunnel without end. My fingers grazed the counters until I found the drawer and fumbled it open. Just as I pulled out the flashlight, I heard Ethan's footsteps. "You okay?" he asked, closer than I expected. His voice came from right behind me, and I jumped slightly. "I'm fine," I laughed nervously. "You startled me." The flashlight clicked on, casting a warm beam across the room. In its glow, I could see Ethan standing only a foot away, his tall frame almost towering over me. He was growing so quickly. It felt like just yesterday he was a little boy holding David's hand at our wedding. Now he was almost a man. The air between us felt unusually still. Maybe it was the storm outside, or maybe it was the way the shadows danced across the walls, but for a moment, we both froze there in the kitchen, the beam of light illuminating the space between us. "Sorry," Ethan muttered, shifting back slightly. "Didn't mean to sneak up on you." "It's all right," I replied softly. "I just wasn't expecting you so close." We both chuckled, easing the strange tension that had sparked in that instant. But inside, I couldn't ignore the wave of emotions that came over me. It wasn't inappropriate, it wasn't anything like that. It was more like a sudden awareness of how quickly time had passed, how this boy I'd helped raise was standing on the edge of adulthood. We decided to wait out the storm in the kitchen, where the windows allowed just enough moonlight to mix with the flashlight's glow. I set a few candles on the counter, and we sat across from each other, listening to the rain. "Do you remember the last time the power went out like this?" I asked, trying to fill the silence. "Yeah," Ethan said after a moment. "Dad was here. He made us roast marshmallows over the gas stove." His lips curled into a faint smile at the memory. I smiled too, remembering David's laugh echoing through the dark house that night. He always finds a way to make the best out of things. Ethan nodded. "You do too, you know." The words caught me off guard. He wasn't a boy who gave compliments easily, but when he did, they carried weight. I swallowed, my throat suddenly tight, and smiled at him. "Thank you, Ethan. That means a lot." The thunder outside rumbled again, and the kitchen lights stayed stubbornly dark. We stayed there, two figures illuminated by candlelight, and talked about everything from school to his future. Ethan shared that he was nervous about applying to colleges, afraid he wouldn't be good enough. I told him that fear was normal, but reminded him how intelligent and capable he truly was. As the hours passed, I realized that sometimes moments of vulnerability come when we least expect them, like during a power outage in a storm. And while Ethan had come close to me physically in that first moment of darkness, it was the emotional closeness that lingered. Little did I know, that night would change the way we both understood family, trust, and the bonds we shared.